the importance of annual general meetings, its implementation in times of the pandemic and its future. As you know, it's a very important topic for me as a shareholder. Today I have Florian Beckermann on my side. Thank you very much for your time. He is an expert on topics of annual meetings and joint stock companies, and he will give us a briefing on the status quo of annual meetings and its future.
Thank you, Bernhard, for being here and being a part of your initiative, which is very much appreciated in these times, especially your videos, and I know a lot of followers like your videos, so I'm glad to be here. Yes, indeed, the general meeting, not only the annual general meeting, is a topic of my heart as well. And for me, the general meeting, especially here in Austria, is the platform for the shareholders and to execute their rights. So they have their right for having a speech, to ask questions, or to pass resolutions. And at the general meeting, they have the chance to execute their rights on one day in one place. And with the pandemic we face right now, and I know everywhere in Europe it's the same, the legislator has passed some laws to help the companies with their general meetings and to put them online, like virtual annual meetings. And a lot of different solutions come up. We in Austria, we are very happy that we have a very close to the presence general meeting solution, which means the shareholder rights are not cut down in a way. It's kind of very close to the old model. But in other countries, like in Germany, for instance, there were some changes which are not really in favor of the shareholders. So, for instance, they had implemented a law that means that all the questions have been raised 3 days in advance before the annual meeting. So all the effects, the positive effects of a direct contact and a direct dialogue between the management board and the shareholders are not already present. So if you have to deliver 3 days in advance. So this is not very in favor of shareholders, and it's criticized everywhere. In Austria, for instance, you can pass your questions inside the general meeting by email, and they have to answer the questions, which is very good for the shareholders. Very close to the normal situation. Not very good. It's not the best, yeah, but it's a good way.
Maybe a way that is possible in those days. I mean,
right.
I must add at this point, for me, the physical meeting is something I cannot compare it to the virtual meeting. I mean, of course, in those days we have virtual meetings all the time, yeah, but I think it's very important to come back to this physical meeting as soon as possible. People know I'm driving with my Tesla with the road trips through Europe and visit one after the other annual meeting. And we are a pretty strong shareholder community in Europe, especially in Germany, Switzerland, in Austria, even in Monaco. We want to make a shareholder meeting together in the community. So this is a part of culture that is somehow very important. So for me, it's important to come back as soon as possible to this culture of annual meetings. It's also that, especially the exchange between the shareholders, which is for me completely missing in the current situation. I mean, yes, absolutely right and true. I think it was also thanks to you that you tried to implement it this way in Austria, that we have the chance to ask questions also during the annual meeting, that we can recap on the speech, on the answers, and ask another question. This is something that is completely missing in Germany, which I think is really cuts the right of the shareholder, which is so important, these rights of the shareholders. And in Switzerland, where usually it's a really cultural day, it's like a festival sometimes, yeah, for people who have attended to annual meetings in Switzerland know what I'm talking about. If you see the Lind annual meeting, for example, yeah, and all the other, where also you get all these goodies and so on. So this is something I hope we can get back as soon as possible. And now Switzerland is for me a bad example, because you don't even have a virtual meeting. It's just the decision and that's it. Okay, you can vote, but in advance, and you don't know the speech, you don't know something to recap on. So yeah, I think this is something we should come back as soon as possible. We also should mention that some companies want to come, or most companies probably want this direct exchange as soon as possible again, as it's safe, yeah. But I also think there is a danger that some really enjoy this cutting the rights of the shareholders. And maybe you can also say some words about from the law side of this. How do you see the virtual meeting from the law, and how do you see the future of meetings in general, and the danger that maybe we don't get back this physical meeting as we were used to have it?
You raised one point that this is the culture of a general meeting, and this is not a legal point, but it's a cultural point. I have visited, well, we in our shareholder association have visited about 80 general meetings last year, and there was not a single one where even the supervisory board or the management board has not expressed their wish to have a physical annual meeting again. Because even for them, it's really better to have a physical contact, to present the results, to present the performance, and to get a broad and very good confirmation for their resolutions. If they, for instance, re-elected or something like that for supervisory board seats. So even for the company, it's a good platform to show their performance. Coming back to the legal point you raised, what's the future? Look, the advantages of technology we have right now implemented are obvious. You can reach much more people with a virtual annual meeting, and it's not more cost effective. That's correct. It's more expensive, but it's a future way. So, in my opinion, and legislators are working on that very close. After the pandemic, we will definitely have more hybrid AGMs or general meetings, meaning that there is a virtual version and the presence version. It's very easy to tackle this from a technological point of view, and it's more comfortable for everyone. So this, in my opinion, will be the future. But from shareholder execution rights, meaning raising the questions and so on, definitely the right of speech and the right of ask is in a physical way much better, because you can elaborate yourself, you can underline your question, you can outline your question, you can get to the stage again and ask again on a particular topic, which is in a written way quite complicated. And if everything is in written way, by email or something like that, it's something totally different if someone reads it and expresses compared to if you speak it by yourself in the form of a speech. And this is totally a different story. So in my opinion, and I know we have the same opinion on that, the comeback of the physical general meeting is really necessary.
So we hope that it comes back as soon as safe and possible.
Right.
And maybe I also want to add some more meanings for me of an annual meeting. I mean, the combination, of course, to make it virtual and physical. Okay, that's top, because also for me it's not possible to go everywhere, and so I have the chance to attend to it also virtually sometimes. But for me, it's difficult to explain in English, especially because I'm more used to talking in German in front of the camera. But just to try to get some of these meanings for me, it is some kind of culture, some kind of lifestyle even. Yeah, I could learn so much because since so many years I attended the annual meetings. I had pretty no knowledge about the finance markets at the beginning when I started all that, and now I'm sitting here and I know a lot of people from the community, and especially Also, for example, let's go back to this example of Switzerland. There is sometimes the whole family at the annual meeting, and it's a very important exchange between generations of people, between older people that have a lot of knowledge about that, younger people get into these finance markets, are interested in finance markets, and see, okay, this is the company, this is the brand, and this is another important point. I think we should mention that it's some kind of a stage in a positive way for the company, for the brand. They can make some, they can make some advertisement for their company. I get the feeling for it. They can touch the product. I get some goodies at home, and then I try it and say, oh, that's really good. I have one example. Maybe people might laugh about that, but in Switzerland at Kalida annual meeting, you get the pyjama. Yeah, and I never thought something, but yeah, okay. And then I tried it, and I said, okay, this is much better quality. And people who got this, I know that, are talking exactly the same in the community, from the shareholders, from Germany, from Switzerland, from Austria. And they say, okay, since this, I buy only this product because it's much better than the other ones I get at the normal brands. Yeah, and also, I think the capital, the money is much longer in it. The investment is much more long-term because you belong in this company. You can talk to the management. Or one other example, several times, not only the questions at the stage. For me, for example, I'm always a little bit afraid. I'm afraid to talk in front of the camera, but even more if there are all the audience in front of me. So I might not ask the question, although I might not ask it in the internet. But if I'm there and then the CEO comes from the stage and you have the aperitif and he comes to your table, and then I can talk to him, I can ask him easy questions, easy going, and see, okay, I understand that, I like the management. This is something very important for me, where I could learn so much, is like the exchange also with the other shareholders.
Yeah, this is the right approach to get a real connection to your investment. When you know that with your investment this is not a mathematical that product, there are people behind it. And for generations, the general meeting is to get in touch with these people running the management, running the company, and showing the product. It's really, you make shareholders to brand ambassadors. You use them as a marketing tool. So it's a give and take, for shareholders and for the company. And as you totally mentioned correctly, the shareholders, the free float shareholders, quite often stay very long in the investment. They build a very sustainable part of the equity of the company, which is not in fact for debts or for institutional investors so often. It's a statistical effect.
Yeah, absolutely. I can only say for me it's some kind of lifestyle as well, to be honest, but also it's something about learning about financial markets, about investments, about different opportunities in the market. It's not only the one company you exchange with the shareholders and somebody tells you, do you know about this stock? Do you know about this stock? Maybe you want to check it, and this is all this, and then you think, okay, I never thought about that. Maybe I should check it, and so on. So this is something where I could learn so much in the last years, and I'm so thankful for all the people I met, for the friendships I have already. We meet at the annual meetings through Europe. So I can only say I hope we can come back as soon as possible to these physical annual meetings.
It's learning on the job, financial education, if you want it like this. If you visit something like an AGM, you get really more understanding how the financial system works, because the people present their figures, they present how they work, they get challenged with that from the shareholders, and even through listening and to discuss with some other people, you have a kind of education. But mentioned before, financial education is something which is really missing right now. We don't learn it in schools. We have no other possibility than studies or specific education programs. We would like to have in Central Europe much more financial education to bring the people much more to the point where they can decide to invest. I don't want to expect everyone being an investment banker, but with a clear view of what's going on and an ability to decide This is I would say, a financial educated investor. This is a target we easily, more or less easily, can accomplish, and this question goes directly to politics, to bring up financial education in schools. We, as the Austrian Shareholder Association, we have invented the so-called Young Shareholders Austria initiative. It's a platform where we would like to connect young people together and speaking about investments and being a shareholder somewhere. It's an early starter, I know, and we would like to grow. I think we really could do that in the next couple of days and months.
Especially
after the coronavirus,
yeah.
Yes.
But we hope we get through that as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can only stick to that. Thank you so much for your efforts. I will put the link in the description, so if you are interested, please check this out.
Yeah.
And I think for sure it's not for everybody, but just, you can get knowledge about it, you can get in touch with it, and then you can decide, do I like that, don't like it, is this something for me? I can only say, several years ago, I started with some funds, and then I said, okay, I don't like that, it's not the direct investment, I don't need that. I mean, why don't I just buy the stock by itself, and then I can attend the meeting, and I can talk to the management, and I get the dividend payments through the whole year from the different companies. And this was something I got more and more into it, and I can only say, okay, you have to see it long term, but for me it's something really interesting, and I'm just thankful for all that I could learn in all this industry. Maybe you want to make some last statement?
Yeah, we spoke about it already before, that a lot of people, especially younger people, are in the corona times, they have time and they invest their money in the markets. As somebody who has worked with shareholder rights and shareholder problems in the Austrian Shareholder Association for the last 11 years, I have seen a lot of drama.
Yeah.
And I would like to warn everybody, especially in this high markets right now, to be very careful with their investments, what they do. For sure, as you mentioned, there are normal savings accounts and there are blue chip shares. Well, no problem with that. But there are a lot of other stuff on the market. And especially on these topics, please be careful. Do not invest all of the money you have in one product. Be diversified. Make your homework. Maybe visit an AGM in advance, even before you invest big in this company, just to give yourself more comfort with your investment. Do your homework. Do everything which is professionally necessary to invest somewhere. And the internet, like your videos, is full of it, full of information providers, and read them, watch them, and then decide. Be careful with your money. You have worked for it quite often, and be careful where you invest, because what's going up goes down, and especially in this very specific, special markets right now, be careful.
Yeah, very important point, and I'm always thankful for such a statement. I believe it's also important that you understand, okay, it will go down, but it's a difference if I put all my money in one product, as you said, or if I put it in some blue chip or something diversified and not all my money, so that I can also make a cost average effect. And I think for me, if the stock market is going down like it was in last March, people know I have made massive purchases in last March. I also made a video about that. For me, this was an opportunity. Of course, it was a hard time. It was this coronavirus. It was a lot of things coming together. People know that that follow the channel. But at least on the stock market, I said, okay, that's perfect. I have a discount. Now I can buy. I mean, it's hard on the one side because you see all the red figures in your portfolio. But on the other side, you say, okay, now I can go shopping. Yeah? And I think this is something you have to see the long term. And if you see it on 10, 20, 30 years with several diversified blue chips, I think it might be better than the saving account.
Look, as a shareholder rights association, for us, the local long-term financial investor in shares this is the investor we would like to have. Yeah, we don't want to have a speculative investment strategy somewhere, yeah, in the world, and the world is big. It's our local business, and there we can help. We cannot help with investments in Southeast Asia or Africa or Caribbean. Yeah,
Yep.
Maybe they're good, yeah, but we cannot help them there. So it comes back to that what we already spoke about, culture. To have a physical approach to the company, to know, oh, this company is around.
Yeah.
And they produce the cars we drive, the beer we drink,
Exactly.
the chocolate we eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is much more physical, familiar approach. I understand, oh, this car is quite often on the street. Maybe it's a good car.
Exactly.
Yeah? So you can have your own feeling about the investment. Some speculative investments maybe sound very good, maybe sound very intelligent, maybe they are far away and not existing.
Exactly, and this is exactly my approach, to be honest. So I'm really happy about your words, yeah. And just one example: when I bought my Tesla in summer 2019. I know there are a lot of controversies about Tesla, so just as an example.
I have not said anything.
Yeah, I know what you are thinking about it. We have been talking in earlier times about that. But anyway, just as an example, I bought the Tesla and I made a test drive also with some friends and so on. And I said, okay, this product is for me, in my opinion, something sensational. It's a game changer. I was completely convinced just by driving the car myself. I was not into Tesla shares before. But then I said, okay, this is a game changer for the future. This car will drive full self-driving in the future. There are so many opportunities. I want to invest in this. And I said, okay, by ordering my Tesla, I also made an order for the Tesla shares. And now my Tesla is for free because the shares made the profit and I realized it, so I have a free car. No, I mean, it's okay. A funny example. But I just wanted to make an example. What they said, okay, this product, I like it. Okay, maybe it's interesting to get to know more. One more thing I want to recap on is that you said, okay, make it with a small amount. Exactly, that's my approach. I like that much. Just some money, you say, okay, if I lose it, it's bad, I'm unhappy about that, but it's a learning, I can live with that. And in those days, this is an advantage also, like the virtual and the digitalization at the annual meetings, it's also that you can buy not for so much money. In earlier times when you had order fees that were crazy, of course it was really where you said, okay, maybe I have to make a big order because otherwise I will have too many fees and that's not possible. But today people know I use, for example, this Flatex or Swissquote, or you can compare to any broker you like. Yeah. There are fees where I say, okay, it's below 1% or around 1% order fee, also if I make a small investment. And this is a game changer also, that you can just say, okay, I try this, and then I have the right as a shareholder to attend the meeting also if I only have a few shares. Because one share and I can attend, and then I can learn, and then I can say, okay, that's something for me. I want to continue with that.
Right.
I think this is a very nice statement from you. Thank you so much. And
thank you for being here.
Yeah, now I think we are looking forward exchange in the comments. So what is your opinion on the topic? This should just be a keynote. And also we would be thankful if you share this video in the community of interested people, of like-minded people. Maybe you can give us thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you so much for your time and for watching this video. We wish you all the best and thoughtful and good investments. Thank you so much for your time.